There's a love test. I'm live, by the way. A love test? Wait, love language test.
Love language test.
Let's do this love language test. Hi, Lancha. Hello. Wait, let me do the story also that we're live with this secret stream. No, that's my face. Wait, the heck? Are you doing the test, Ari?
Yeah.
Hi, JJ.
Oh,
Oh, it's Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Oh, you're also hearing. Oh, that's Bob here. Bob in call. Bob, just to let you know, I am live.
I'm happy for you.
No, I'm just saying, like, don't say. I'm just saying, don't say random shit.
I just
But maybe
Are you want to give yourself the horse emoji and horse?
I am. Please. 61 when you host.
Don't be toxic, are you, please?
It's hard.
I came with a peace offering.
For sure.
Oh. I forgot to send something. I have to remember this. Is anyone in chat? Discord is echoing for you? Can you try to talk maybe, Ari?
Hello.
Is it?
Yes.
Hi. Hi, Poto. Hi, Poto. Hello. Is it still echoing? Is it already Friday? No, it's not. It's not Friday. Hi, Rising. Hi. Oh, thank you for pushing. It is not Friday. Shut up.
Then you can start drinking, don't worry.
No, it's not. Anyway, can anyone like remind me tomorrow that I have to send the link to someone? I have to send a link to someone. Just remind me this. Tomorrow I'm not going live. It's gonna be difficult for me. Anyway. Hi, hello chat. Hello. How are you doing? Shall we do this quiz together?
Yeah.
I'll do the quiz and then we can go do whatever else you want. We can and then we go Valo. How do you describe yourself? I'm an adult. I'm single. It's more meaningful. This is to understand what is my love language chat, apparently. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love sends me a loving... Wait, let me increase your volume for the chat. Someone I love sends me loving note, text, email for no special reason. I hug someone I love. I hug someone. It's more meaningful to me when I can spend time with someone I love, just us. Someone I love does something practical to help me out. Please help me. It's more meaningful to me when wait, it's too small for you, right? For chat, okay. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love gives me a little gift as a token of our love or concern for each other. I get to spend an uninterrupted leisure time with those I love. Oh no, I need interrupted leisure time. Right? Max Proietti test, he also took this. Ashkan, this is like a test to see what is my love language. What is my love language? I have generally no idea.
100% real.
Yeah, 100, like once you get this is the real. This is the truth. No coming away from this. Someone I love does something unexpected for me to help me with a project. I can share an innocent touch with someone I love. Innocent touch? What is an innocent touch? Like a pat on the shoulder? Kind of vibe? Hi, Kaza.
No. Like
Hey,
holding
Angelos.
hands.
Like holding hands?
Yeah.
Not
No.
exactly.
No.
Explicit, you know.
Someone I love puts their arm around me in public. The arm around me in public. No, I don't like to be touched in public. I hate like public affection. I'm around someone I love even if we're not really doing anything. I can be comfortable holding hands. If I even putting my arm around someone, like, no. I received a gift from someone I love. I hear from someone I love that they love me. Yes. I sit close to someone I love. Or I am complimented by someone I love for no apparent reason. Compliments. Oh, my microphone. Oh, the microphone is clipping. You have the same issue that we had the other day. Let me fix it. Every time. Let me fix the settings of the mic. Thank you for telling me. Sound control panel. Oh, levels. Why does it always go back to 100? It's crazy.
I think this test is just gonna tell me that I'm clingy.
Are you?
Maybe.
16 personalities test? Yes, I have. Have you, like, I have done it. The 16 personalities. Is it a public test? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's more meaningful to me. I get the chance to go to just hang out with someone I love. I unexpectedly get some small gifts from someone I love. I think a little gift. Maybe because I can never receive it. I hear someone I love tell me I'm proud of you. Oh shit, someone I love helps me with a task.
Daddy issues.
Alright, thank you.
Wow.
That changed everything, really? Also the Discord? Oh, nice. Which personality I am? I am the defender. Defender, if I'm not wrong. What are you, chat? Have you tried the 16 personalities? What, have you done it, Ari? And
I just finished it.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
I'm INT something.
Oh, I did the personality one, but I don't remember what I got.
Is it better now? Can you please try to talk? Continue talking.
Yeah, talking. Test. 1, 2, 3.
This is better, right? Okay. I hear someone I love tell me I'm proud of you, and someone, like, this will make me go like, oh, you're so nice, like, thank you so much. And this one will just make me go cry. What is this quiz? Is to understand what is my love language, Marco. Hi, Trickster. Hello. I don't know what I'm doing live. Wait, actually, let me go live also on... Oh, fuck, this was loud. I forgot. This is destroying your ears. Hi, Opposita. Do I have to talk again?
No.
Talking? Yes. Hello.
7 makes 6 less than 3.
Okay, this should be better as audio level. Thank you so much, Seba. Thank you so much for the 7 months. I appreciate you. I think this one. I get to do things with someone I love. I hear supportive words from someone I love. I hear supporting words. The point is, like, I don't even know. I cannot even, like, since my last very extremely serious relationship, it's been so long. I changed so much that I have no idea about what do I like. Anyway, someone I love does things for me instead of just talking about doing nice things. Yes. I feel connected to someone I love through a hug. No. It has been long. It has been a long time. I hear praise from someone I love. Someone I love gives me something that shows they're really thinking about me. I think that I've been with way too many people that were just talking too much. I'm able to just be around someone I love. I get a back rub from someone I love. Yes, scratch my back. Hi, Parasite. Hello. Someone I love reacts positively to something I've accomplished. Someone I love does something for me that I know they don't particularly enjoy. No, that what makes me feel so responsible, like having them entertained. I'm about to have sushi and wine for dinner. Oh my goodness. I'm able to be in close physical proximity to someone I love. I sense someone I love showing interest in the things I care about. This one. Who's breathing? Ari, are you stressed for the results of your test?
What?
Are you stressed of the results of your test?
Why?
Yeah, just because you were.
Really?
Yes.
It feels nice. Sorry, I'm getting by.
Sorry.
Why are you bullying Hershey?
So no, I'm not. I'm just
You're a
asking for
bully.
this. No, I'm not. Sounds hi. Best friend with someone and you want more. It's really already done. Sounds. Wait, You're here since long time. Yeah, exactly. November 27. I remember your name was one of the first ones. Hi. Chuck, when I tell you that I remember people, I do. Look at that. I remember that person. Wait, you guys are experiencing emotions? Shit. Anyway, someone I love works on special projects with me that I have to complete. Someone I love gives me an exciting gift. No. I'm complimented by someone I love on my appearance. Someone I love takes the time to listen to me and really understands my feelings. No, please don't. I don't want to open my. I don't want to talk about my feelings. I can share a meaningful touch in public with someone I love. Someone I love offers to run errands for me. Run errands. Someone I love does something special for me to help me out. I get a gift that someone I love put thought into choosing. Something special, I think. Someone I love. It's so long. I just lied. I did not lie. Baptista! That's you. Hi, Baptista. No, but you're a friend of Baptista. You're a friend of Baptiste. Now I remember his house. Hi. Someone I love doesn't check their phone while we're talking with each other. Oh, hell yeah. Someone I love goes out of their way to do something that relieves pressure on me. That was cute. No. I can look forward to a holiday because I'll probably get a gift from someone I love. I hear the words, I appreciate you from someone I love. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Someone I love knows that I need to be left alone and they should go away when I left. I hear the words, I appreciate you. No. I mean, wait, let me fix. Cam is way too high. Sorry. You were looking at my forehead. Wait. Anyway. Yeah, you are getting night G. Good. Someone I love and haven't seen in a while thinks enough of me to give me a little gift. Nice. Someone I love takes care of something I'm responsible to do, but I feel too stressed to do at the time. Oh, yeah. Someone I love doesn't interrupt me while I'm talking. Oh, hell yeah. Gift giving is an important part of the relationship with someone I love. No, I've been going on for 2 years without having not even... know a fun fact, Ari and Bobo? There is meant to be music.
Yeah.
My last ex-boyfriend never gifted ever any type of flowers to me. And once I was like, no, it's completely fine. I was like, one day I was like, oh, it would be nice to like once have like a flower from you. That would be so sweet, I think. Oh, okay. For Christmas, he gifted me like a fake flower made of like ice cream sticks made by him. I think that I still have it somewhere.
I think you said that before, yeah.
Yeah.
Very fun fact.
Very fun. Someone
you know how to pick them.
Yeah, right? Hi, Yoko. Someone I love helps me out when they know I'm already tired. Okay. I get to go somewhere while spending time with my... Rocco! Oh, you're so sweet. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for the 2 months. Someone I love helps me out when they know I'm already tired. I think this one. I am back to be a live Venki. Someone I love touches my arm or shoulder to show their care or concern. Now. Someone I love gives me a little... You're sweet. Someone I love gives me a little... Oh, I didn't go live on TikTok. Wait, hold on. I'll go live when we go Valorant. Can you remind me?
Yeah.
Someone I love gives me a little gift that they picked up in the course of their normal day. I'd rather not be touched, thank you. Someone I love says something encouraging to me. I get to spend time in a shared activity or hobby with someone I love. No, I want to have my own space. Someone I love surprises me with a small token of their appreciation. I'm touching someone I love frequently to express our friendship. I am a touchy person.
You're not a touchy person. You haven't chosen a single touchy answer.
No, not here, but like to people. Like I don't like to be touched, but I like to touch. This is the Cami, if you, I don't know if Cami is in chat, if they can send the link in chat. Someone I love helps me out, especially if I know they're already busy. No, I don't. Oh, thank you, Ari. I hear someone I love tell me that they appreciate me. I feel guilty if they're already busy. So no. I get a hug from someone whom I haven't seen in a while. I hear someone I love tell me how much I mean to him. This will make me cringe, maybe. Okay. Last question. Someone I love sends me a loving note, text, email for no special reason. Someone I love helps me with a task. Help me. I don't want messages. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. Acts of service. All right. And words of affirmation. Oh, what the fuck. What are you? What are you, Ari?
I send it in
Wait.
Discord.
You sent it? Let's see. Oh, okay, I was scared of like...
It's words of affirmation. The
Oh, you
first
words of
one.
affirmation and then acts of service and physical touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge.
Good girl. Oh, that's. No.
Pila, thank you so Pila, thank you so much for the... Oh, alerts are too quiet. Was I dancing to nothing? Was that cringe? Alright. I'm so sorry. Pila, thank you so much for the raid. Hi, raiders. Welcome in. Now, I hope now they're better. Otherwise, we're gonna have something very cringe. Pila, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Welcome in, Ride. Pora che tu da truccata non riesci... Oh, okay. Okay. Ai. By the way, yeah, people, I met Pila Pola in Milan. So sweet. Such a sweet person. But you decided to take them out. No, alerts were too loud for me before. Alerts were too loud before. Anyway. What did you get, chat? Did you try it? Top left here. I have acts of service, words of affirmation, receiving it. But Ari, you are especially words of affirmation. You're 30%. Well, not the difference from my acts of service.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Screenshot and then we send it for boyfriend application. Oh, Rosie, hi, welcome back. Hi. All right, Bobo, Ari and I were thinking about ranking on Valo.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I don't.
Should we try this? Try it, chat. Try it. There is no harm in trying tests. That was a test to see what is your love language. All right, let me find a good way for having this light, but not also killing myself with the light.
I'll go cry myself. It's okay.
Why are you good? No, you can stay if you want to.
No.
Why not?
I want to play Valorant too.
Quality time 13% is not acceptable. Well, the point is like I really enjoy the time by myself.
Yeah, same.
Right?
The thing is, I sent the quiz to my boyfriend, and
Yeah?
he got quality time first.
Holy
And I'm like, oh.
Well, but that's what he needs, so you know what
Yeah.
to give him. But he has to tell you, "Oh, you're so good, Arya." Now I know. Now I know. Breakup Inc. No.
Oh god.
That match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Match found.
Can you help me change the game category, JJ, please? Oh, I also have to go live on TikTok. At source, game capture. What do you mean? No, Valorant is on. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate you. No, Arya. No.
Deathmatch.
D-rank.
Warm up.
How dare you say D-rank? How can I copy? I cannot copy a source.
I will catch you two later.
Okay. Thank you, Bubba, for
See
being
you.
here.
Sorry, guys, Ruben. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. At least someone believes.
Get ready. I go fast. Fight. Let's go.
What is this? I swear there is nothing worse than the TikTok thing to stream. Alright, I have to do it manually. Sorry, chat, give me a second. Did it work? No, I didn't. Hi Joey, how are you doing? I see you. How can this be so bad? Sorry chat, I'm trying to fix. Holy fuck. Oh. Why didn't it save? You Campbell. Apply. Okay. Okay, we can go. Topic. Gaming. Bear with me, chat. I'm so sorry. Go like. Okay. Nice. There we go. I didn't die many times, by the way. What the fuck? It's so laggy. I think that I have to cut out the TikTok one. Yeah, I'm cutting out the stream on TikTok. It's way too laggy. Nope. Not doing that. At least we tried something. Hi, Rising. Jinx yourself there. Didn't die many times. Fair. Come at me!
Which one are you?
Go away.
I'm Harbor, I think.
No, you're Neon.
I'm Neon. Oh yeah.
You chose the first.
Sorry, I was not. I was like, where is everyone? Who are you?
I'm KO.
Okay. I swear. TikTok dead? Yeah. Eh. Oh no!
Got one.
That one?
Oh,
Oh!
you scared me.
Alright, chat, if you're wondering what is this? Like, this is the deathmatch. Like, oh, this is not the. This is to warm up because, as you can see, I am so not warmed up. Oh my god. Bad aim simulator? Yeah. Very. Oh, 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 oh! Fuck, I forgot we have the woofs and the meows and all of that.
Oh, that's nice.
Mine.
That was me.
I know, that's why I said mine.
Heads up.
Oh. Oh.
Oh,
10
no, never
kills
mind.
remaining.
Yo, add that to the title? What? What you will add to the title? About the meows and the bows? Like meow and wolves? Oh my god! What is this? Prime!
It's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to try.
700 men! What the fuck?
Nice try.
Hi, Raiders. Welcome
Hi,
in.
readers.
Prime says, thank you for what? Thank you! What the fuck? Thank you for the raid. Either best content ever on... Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. Holy shit. No, I don't feel pressure right now. No, 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 no. By the way, hi Raiders. Nice to
5
meet you.
kills remaining.
I am G. I usually do co-working streams, but I don't know why November became the gaming month, so we're playing games. Splash party where we should. We should definitely. We should definitely do it again. What were you doing, Prime? Thank you for the shout out. Yeah, people, if you like coding and you like... That was Arya. If you like coding and you... She's laughing. You can hear her. And you can, like, you don't hear her laughing. You just hear foo, 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 foo. But I appreciate you so much for the raid, by the way. And I was saying, like, if you like coding and developing shit and doing cool stuff, go check Prime out for sure. One of the best. One of the best creators for sure. Infinity! You're making me blush.
1 kill remaining.
Oh, I don't want to be his last skill. Oh my god. Ooh. Infinity, thank you so much for the prime. I appreciate you for it. Was someone behind my butt, right? Frag time? Okay, Jet was there last. I was not the last one, thank god, thank god. We want to play WoW, but I don't remember how but then you remember how frustrating it is? Well, I mean, I feel like... Infinity, what the fuck? Infinity, what the actual fuck? Infinity, okay, this is not legal. This is not legal. You, what? Thank you so much for the 10 gifted ones. I appreciate you so fucking much. You're following since 2 minutes ago. You don't even have a message in chat. Venusta, you're beautiful. Very beautiful. What the fuck? Infinity, you have no idea how much that means to me. But still, let me first scam you a little bit. Then you can decide to support. But let me make fun of you a little bit. I appreciate you so much for that. Holy fuck. Thank you. Yeah, you're contributing for the skating scheme. Skating stream. I appreciate you so much for that. Really. Do you wanna go comp?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do rank.
What the fuck? What happens at night, chat? What is happening at night? Dumba, you're not better. You're not better. You are following since 4 minutes and you have written 2 messages only. This is not fair, chat. So many... Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Infinity. Sorry.
Match found.
Yeah, I was sorry. Thank you. What the battle? Okay, can we chill, chat? Yeah, Train. Thank you so much for the 100 BDs.
Don't chill, chat. Don't chill.
Don't chill. Dumba, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 5.
Any primers?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We're already on a level 5 of the hype train. Arya trying hard. Arya is way cooler than you are. Oh.
Match found.
To me,
Dumba. Thank you for the 100 videos. Holy. So, what are we doing in the end? Are we doing the cooking stream together?
What did the pirate say on
We
his 80th
could
birthday?
try.
I'm 80.
We could try.
Yeah.
Alright, that's a no. That's not a no, so I'm very happy. But Dumbo and Infinity, oh my goodness gracious Lord, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Oh my god. Were you coming from the raid? So I have to thank Prime for bringing you here. Appreciate him for, you know. Is Arya doing the cooking stream? She said like, she didn't say no. We're Heaven?
Is Kami doing the cooking stream?
Is Kami doing, that's a real point. Is Kami doing this cooking stream too? I'm a pocket sage you.
Nice.
Silver 3, I'm feeling good about it. But wait, we need more.
I'm just asking a question, Kami.
Since when I play Valorant, way too much for being still Silver 3. Way too much to Silver.
True.
Hi man, Onir. Oh, you were there? Tomba, you're sweet. Thank you so much. Are we good? Yeah. If Arya does the cooking stream, you will do too? Nice.
I'll do it then.
Okay, nice. I should have music here. Don't I have it? No?
Can't listen to the music because I'll hear you twice.
No. Ronnie, thank you so much for the gifted one. I appreciate you. Welcome on board of the train. Welcome on board of the train. Aren't the alerts a little bit too loud, or is it just for me that they're too loud? Chat, how was this one? Wasn't it too loud?
Reina, there are better ways to survive than your path.
I'm so ashamed.
Sounded fine. Okay, you're gonna be deafen me.
How will I live with myself?
Okay, alerts are gonna deafen me. Nice, good. So no real good gameplay. I promise Arya will be playing as better as I can. We're not falling back down. We're not.
Yeah, we're tryharding.
Yeah, we're trying super hard. Deafen while playing Valor. Study, please learn me how to play. I got you.
Find a better teacher.
No charges left.
No one is holding garage. It's fine, I guess. Same try hard than yesterday. We
I'll
did
go.
good yesterday.
Did we?
No.
They're all the mid.
Oh, we didn't say hi to our team, Arya.
Yeah, that's why I'm losing.
Yeah. Oh man, let me... Yo. Or not.
Wall raised.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Let's try.
And 3 bullets. That drink gonna carry us to the win. It could be. Thank you for that level 5. What is this? I even forgot we had those. I forgot we had those.
What?
Read the Infinity message. Let's make it, Theo.
Oh.
How many kills? I'll give subs of oh my, stop, of course, if you don't miss my message. I didn't miss your message. Oh my god.
Time.
Okay, sorry.
Window
Okay.
garage. I'm not focused.
Here.
Last
Ah.
player standing.
Impossible.
Spike planted.
Can't.
Oh,
Shit show. Okay, so Infinity, these future kills are gonna be for you. I have one. I have one kill. Next ones are for
Let's
you.
go.
Okay? You got this.
we are full
Easy.
buying.
Yeah. Can't you see she's getting killed? Okay. I'm not gonna get distracted by you, chat. I know that I already. I need to support Arya. Otherwise, she's not gonna play with me. By the way, hi team.
Hello.
Sepsone.
Nice.
Enemy mark.
Oh, for a second it lagged.
Leo, for sure.
Spike planted.
Infinity, I'm tryharding so
The
much.
plan is C.
Plan C?
Yeah, they were so fast.
Oh, this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Enemy remaining.
I should have known. I said son of a bitch, by the way. Good one, Arya. A good one. Sorry for the loss today. My team beat Verona 1. Oh, it's fine. Everyone can beat Verona football team. It's fine. Oh, are we doing for the bets?
Let's bring it.
I mirror. Son of a fish. Son of a fish. This rated yes. So we're having a karaoke when I come to Greece,
Kill
right?
my copy.
Yeah, of course.
Time for me? Oh, go for it. Go, Dumba. Thank you so
Don't
much
you
for passing
believe
by.
in anyone else, exactly?
Barrier created.
Steps on A.
Reloading.
Spike down A.
Alien Reina.
Enemy tag.
We have Spike. Holy fucking
I shot
shit.
that.
Rising. Porca troia.
Die.
Rising.
Scanning ahead.
I am gonna have a heart attack from this game. I swear.
Reloading.
I tend to win with this game. It's
One enemy remaining.
Over. Block in sight.
30 seconds left. Last player standing.
Oh, and he has 4 of health. 4 health.
Yeah.
Spike planted.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
I can hide.
Oh, was that important?
Okay. Should be better like this.
My quiver is never full.
Oh, nothing, Kappa. Nothing is happening here. Silver 3 in Valo is but diamond in life. Oh. So I can hold garage. Can you go see, please? I guess not. I hold garage.
Wall raised.
Someone mid.
Oh my god.
I'm on
Window, mid,
Oh fuck.
I'm
We
blind.
see.
Loading.
We got this. Oh my god. How?
Last player standing.
We got destroyed.
I whiffed so
Spike
hard,
planted.
Abby. I whiffed so hard, you have no idea.
Gone.
I had another level of whiff. I have a... That looked so bad, chat. Don't clap. I don't deserve the claps.
What do you say, drone? Ready to stretch your wings?
Horrible. Anyway,
I'm
shall we
saving.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Saving.
Team Liquid. Shut up. Team Liquid. I'm not toxic. Are we playing
No,
the
you
cake
didn't
on
do
A?
the accent.
Oh, you're right. I'm not toxic. Oh, no, I'm running away. I'm staying right here.
Oh no.
Sicko. Takes so time. On top!
Last player standing.
Omen always goes on the top of B.
Let's get these idiots.
Okay, at least I'm not bottom fragging. I was going to say that. Then
Can we ban everyone that voted that we're gonna lose?
Okay. Yo, did we ban the entire chat now?
Probably. Oh no.
Are they pushing B?
I think so. Yeah. Pushing.
Coming.
Planting.
Last player standing.
What?
Holy fuck.
Spike planted.
They're so like.
Are they?
Yes. I mean, they are better, but they're still very light at some points.
Okay, we know the drill. Stick to your
Anyway.
roles and we'll crush 'em.
Anyway. I'm gonna try to hold B. I'm violent in the game.
Yeah, but you should wall B maybe.
Yeah. I hold B, it's fine. Oh, Sova, you can go anywhere else. Honestly, anywhere else. Sova, can you please hold anywhere else? Thank you. Don't you get away from me.
Never lose sight.
No, you lose sight.
Lose your sight.
Lose sight.
Enemy spotted. Lead.
Yeah, now that you spotted them.
Deploying drone.
Pushing.
Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
Where is he?
On site with me.
Go take a vandal.
Okay. Ah, no, she's.
Oh, nice, good job.
Player standing.
Ah, okay.
No.
Even with
Okay, Arya-
members, anything can still happen.
Soy is
Remember
here?
that.
Who is Soy?
What?
Who is Soy?
Oh.
What? Oh, what is this all? Who is Soy? Arya?
Yes.
Who is Soy? Is it your boyfriend?
Let's go.
Is it your... Okay. If you're watching...
Enemy spotted me.
Window and A.
Spike down mid.
I've got your trail. Barrier created.
So let me heal.
You will not kill my ally.
Mid. Oh my god. Going ahead. planting.
Spike planted.
I could have revived someone actually.
You fought well.
One enemy remaining.
Good one. You can take it.
Nice.
Oh, you also.
Thank you.
Oh, I like this one. When was the last time you hold a gun in a video game?
Reloading.
What do you mean?
Watch them run when lit by my sonar. That's when we strike.
What is a secret hobby? Not really secret. Wait, is the guy... Is Omen tonto?
Oh.
Omen? Are you tonto?
He's not here. He's AFK.
Omen, come back, please.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's picking
Oh.
up his foot.
Okay.
Is he Italian?
Sì, bravo.
Oh, anch'io!
Garage. And C.
120 Sky. 120 Sky.
Message sent.
Oh my god, there's two here.
Last player standing.
Where is Omen? Oh, man.
Spike planted.
Oh well.
By the way, his name is Tonto. His... What do you mean, what game is this? This is Valorant. Oh. Yeah, thank you so much.
I got your back. Just, you know,
Bentornato Tonto. Stream Sniper?
Ah, anche Reina è italiano.
No,
No.
I can barely hear shit.
They're all pretending to be good copium.
What the fuck? You good? Do you need help?
Garage. Mid.
I've got your trail.
I'm on the speech.
Remove.
Wait for me, chat. Was one C?
No, hey.
Spike planted. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
War race. Your duty is not over.
Grazie.
Of course.
Cool. Reloading.
Ari, how
Oh
was
my god.
How is the song, Ari?
Which song?
You know
Oh.
what this is.
A single mom.
I wanna go now.
A single man who works to each
Last round before the switch.
Yeah, I'm cursing in Greek, no worry.
After this.
You crazy.
No one understands anyway. Can you buy me?
Oh, sure. I know that there's people in chat that are getting surprised that I'm good. What? You are actually good? What do you mean?
No, Sicaris.
We got this.
I don't like holding garage.
Don't hold it.
I don't want to go there.
War race. Watch this. Enemy spotted B. Return to dust.
Ah, she knew.
Spike down B.
Fuck. Jesus.
I was
Sorry.
so stressed.
Last player standing.
I was too stressed for you, Ari.
I'm trying really hard not to scream.
Say, no. Tonto, no.
Spike planted.
No, tonto, no. I believed.
Switching sides.
Oh, it's fine, confetti.
Are you here?
Che succede a Tonto? Tonto, tappa.
Siete italiani?
Io, sto tanto io.
No, non sono italiano.
Bella. AFK strat that didn't work. Not even a little bit. I'm playing Marcello. Let me be a real sage.
Scanning ahead.
Cover going out.
Oh, you're alone?
Oh my god.
Last
Where is it?
Blank.
Spike down. C.
That was the fastest flank ever.
Stay alive. I want their life, not yours.
The stress clubs. Tonto, per favore. Please.
Ma non so, non si pronuncia.
Eh? Cosa?
Tonton.
Tonto?
Can you tell
Tonto.
Tonto to save and don't be a Tonto?
Save.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Tonto? That's not how you pronounce it. You pronounce it ton and to. I don't think so.
Blind.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
Okay. That's the point. I do the headshot, but then I don't. How can me and you be the same
fine.
battle rank? What do you mean? That are you saying that I'm bad or that you're bad? Tonto, puoi per favore farmi 2 kill? Secondo me ce la fai.
Ci sto provando.
Bravo, vai, dai. I'm asking him to do at least 2 kills.
Yeah, I understood. Trust me.
I'm not flaming, I'm empowering, trust me.
Yeah.
Don't push the smoke, don't push the smoke. Omen. Horrible.
Will let me blind?
Cutting their vision.
One enemy remaining.
Above. Nice.
Bella.
I don't think they're Italian, they only say bella, bella. Justice for Tonto.
They're Tontos.
They're very
What do you
tontos.
expect?
Do you want to go through mid again?
Sì, andiamo via di nuovo. Va.
Tonto is Spanish? Tonto is Italian.
Abbiamo che c'è là.
Bravo. They sound like bots. They say like, we have to win.
Ma porca.
Was that you?
Shadows traveling.
Oh no.
Spike down mid.
I don't like this. I hate this.
Yes, maybe, yes, you do receive a slap on the face, yes. Sbagliato, thank you so much. Thank you for the 3 months.
Need edit Fiona kill.
I will. I promise I will. I have to fix the audios because they're way too long.
Sage.
What's up?
Need a drop.
Dimmi.
Keep up.
Sova adesso ha il testosterone alto. Adesso lui diventa un fire.
I don't have any gun, by the way.
I didn't understand shit.
I'm poor.
Enemy spotted B.
Cover going out.
For you.
Shadows.
Reloading.
Let's go see. I have to
Spike down,
stop
mid.
not having fun.
I'm so dead.
Last player standing.
I have to stop now.
Can't do
having
anything
fun.
there. No one's buying me a gun.
You're from Ukraine? I also have a friend that she's from Ukraine.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, don't push that. Don't pusharlo, non pusharlo.
ahead.
Ovviamente non pusharlo da lì. You wanna play with Tonto? You want to be prepared by what? For what? To come to Italy? Don't call anyone Tonto in Italy if you can. It's gonna be window. Yeah. 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 It's fine.
Will be towards at least one of us.
Do you wanna fake a site? We have to force. I don't
Yeah. I have money.
Lag? Is it lagging?
Sage, Sova è un donnaiolo. Motivalo a fare meglio. Farà tutti. Cioè,
Bro, sono un uomo.
facendo solo grazie a te.
Bro, sono un uomo.
What are they saying?
You're saying, Sova is a Casanova. I said that Sova is a Casanova. So he needs like my motivation as a woman to do better. And I was like, man, I'm a man.
Reloading.
One is sure on A.
Weapon here.
Take flight.
Lo buono, 4 di vita.
Wall raised.
Two on A.
I need help on B.
Spike planted.
10 seconds for heal jet.
Veloce, così diventa un fire.
10 seconds to heal jet. 2.
Revealing area.
Sbuco fuori.
For you.
Sono ancora in A, eh.
Sova teleported B.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Wait, one.
Oh, c'è una banda lì?
Gun here.
Weapon here.
Deep breath.
Non c'è lì. Ho
Your
Sì, vedi,
hearts
no?
are pounding.
Okay.
fatto da esca.
Need a drop.
Thank you. Thank you.
Allora, adesso
Looking good for the
droppo
bet.
Ace, poi la vinciamo. Andiamo a vincerla, ragazzi.
Yeah. Omen is saying that now he's gonna ace and we're gonna win. He has
Yeah.
2 kills.
Sto
Let's
aspettando
see.
che diventi positivo, eh.
Sì, anch'io.
Tra poco diventerò positivo.
Enemy spotted B.
Wait, see.
100 reina.
Reloading. Reloading. Watch this.
Can I leave this one to someone else?
One enemy remaining.
101 reina.
Here.
Wait for me.
I'm playing safe with you.
Reload. Wall raised.
Oh, I fucked up.
Giocate tempo. Va così. Playtime.
I think she's...
Oh,
Enemy
sorry.
A.
I'm scared.
Playtime, please.
Last player standing.
Fuck.
My
That's
bad.
not good.
Bye.
Nice.
Oh my god. I've never been more stressed in my life.
A bow and arrow is old fashioned. Sometimes old ways are best.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Tanto hai fatto 3 kill.
2 le ho fatte in questa seconda metà, quindi mi sto risvegliando.
Bravissimo, bravissimo.
Salto di qualità.
Adesso clutch, adesso clutch.
Okay. Wait, I think that... Oh yeah, there are 3 Italians.
Oh, they got audience.
Let's just go see, let's go see.
Ragazzi,
Be careful.
non è
Yeah, you're good.
importante
You
la
will
quantità
not
delle
kill
kill,
my allies.
è importante la qualità delle kill.
Okay, bye. Can you smoke?
Dietro.
I don't have smoke anymore.
Barrier created.
Why isn't he smoking anything?
He said that he doesn't have any more smokes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, that's up. Oh, how did she know? My bad, my bad. Play for the ulti, Sova. Wait.
One enemy remaining.
Oh no.
Yeah, bro, stavano diffusando. Bro, they were diffusing. Why didn't he?
Match point.
Symphony of death. And hurry, you get
Avevo
cheese.
fatto 2 kill.
Not the right one, those. Not finished. Did Sova bet for
Just bet on the last.
Oh, I did it.
Hermanita.
Rascia va.
Forse c'è Reina.
Let me blind.
Let me heal, Jet.
For you.
I have the spike.
Weapon here.
Oh, fuck.
Enemy
Two A.
spotted A.
We can rotate.
Your duty is not over.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Sorry, Jet. What happened to that bird?
I don't know.
Let's go see.
I don't know where Ace is.
I don't have a wall. You can go.
Oh no, I'm going long. I'm running.
Yeah, go on. Fuck. I ping it. Don't peek.
Yeah.
Sova, push, Sova, push. On spike.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
I think you can play time. Fake peek.
Go.
Good one.
Nice.
Good one, Arya.
They don't have a single life worth saving.
Thank you, mommy, for caring.
Please, you're kind.
Can someone get this?
No.
Thank you.
Who buff? That's it.
Can I publicly shame someone?
Yes.
Zeko, can you stop whispering me toxic things? Thank you. In game.
Grid power. Oh,
You're
hell
very.
yeah.
I'm close to unfriending you.
We're pushing hard, eh? Let's go, let's push,
Yeah.
push. I don't understand Omen's smokes, by the way.
Yes, same.
Let's rotate. Let's go away,
I'm whiffing.
We don't have it.
I've got your trail.
She's right here.
Careful.
Here.
One enemy remaining.
She was A. Oh, heaven, I think.
I think she's short.
Light planted.
Nice.
Bob Lafro,
We
hi.
are strong because we
How many
are
times does
Don't
say?
forget that.
What? Zeko wrote to you again?
No, it's time him out. Nice.
Oh, can we time him out? Alright.
Andiamo in C, andiamo in C.
Hi. Oh, hi, Soy. Soy meowed. I think that the meow was for you.
Sage, andiamo in C.
Ok.
Ho fatto una kill, sono riuscito a fare un kill. Ci sta.
Bravissimo. Yes, I am losing.
There.
Enemy spotted C. Reloading.
Check back. Check flank. Check flank. Okay.
Cutting their vision. Still in sight. Here.
Vai Sage, planta.
One enemy remaining.
Here.
Reloading.
Light planted.
Deploying drone.
Don't pick Reina, please.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Thank you.
Here.
Good one. Good job. Tonto rank?
We got this.
I don't really know. I don't know their rank.
I need this.
There, he bought for me before.
Reina, can I have skin? Please.
Oh my god. I swear, Arya, you're making me feel like I never want to buy skins.
Yeah.
Because like every time then people ask you constantly
Yeah.
about
So
skins.
è attivato,
Zeko has...
Salt account.
Reloading. Enemy spotted A.
Oh. Blinded.
Reloading.
Let's go away, let's go away, let's go away.
There's two A.
Healing.
Going B.
1 mid.
Right here.
The fuck up. Let's go see, let's go see. I'm a walls garage. Go.
Spike drop. My ultimate is not ready. Wall raised.
Anda, per favore.
You will not kill my allies.
Dai.
2 garage. Oh yeah, they're coming to you. Toy, thank you for the raid. Hi.
Last player
I
standing.
hate.
Again. They're all going there. I'll ping it. No, wait. Wait for them. They don't know where you are yet. No.
Cutting their vision.
Oh no! My bad.
Okay.
GG.
Defenders win.
And apologies, Smurf. Toy Sword, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you. Hi, Harvey James. Hi, Grouplex. Hi, Toy Sword. Hi, hello. This was said. Oh, are we back to silver too?
I am.
You are.
Yeah.
I am at 0. I'm at
I didn't lose much though.
I
But
lose
yeah.
20. I lose 20.
Oh, you're 20? No. Oh no. It's happening
Toy Sword
again.
with a 1 million viewer, right? Yes. I do play LOL. I do. Are we playing one more, Ari?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a 0-0.
We're winning now. That was the warm up.
Yeah, at least you're not bronze. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. We had 3 talents in the team. Okay.
Congrats on your tomatoes. Whoever
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
Do you feel good about yourself?
Oh, how many kills?
Match
Wait.
found.
How many kills? Chat, how many kills? It's fine, Infinity. No need to pay those. For real. No worries. Arya top Reina, for sure.
Oh.
Look, it's a team of all women. That's beautiful. Hi, team.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, hello.
53 kills, I can go shot.
I have to play smokes. Oh, never mind. Oh my god.
Infinity, what the fuck? Infinity, what the fuck? Holy fuck. Sorry, I would stop saying fuck. I know, I just said it again, but...
I am both shield and sword.
Goodness. Thank you for the 20. Oh, extra game. Shall we go every 30? We go extra game? Infinity. Infinity, you just gifted 30 tonight. Please, someone please take away the credit card from Infinity. Please. Please take it away. I cannot say holy, I cannot say fuck, I cannot say anything. Infinity, thank you so freaking much for that. Oh my god. I didn't say holy, that doesn't count. Come on.
Let's do this for them.
We're gonna go one extra game.
Hello, guys. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Oh, nice.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Are you Italian?
You're... Oh, sì.
Sì, dalla pronuncia si capiva subito. Studi time. You said studi time.
I
was like,
understood what you said.
Stai a giocare a Valorant. Stai studiando.
Eh sì, I'm studying it in Valorant.
Ci sta, ci sta.
Studi time.
Studi time?
I recognized them immediately.
Pusha, pusha.
Feeling sight. Hawk out.
I'm blind.
Wall raised. Reloading.
No, I'm going right here.
Down.
Light planted.
Jump on top of boxes.
Here.
Got into my wall.
Chamber lamps, chamber lamps.
Oh, that.
No way.
One enemy remaining.
How far does it go?
He's so bad.
That's done. Quick break.
Good job.
Sorry, that was toxic.
That's it now. Let's keep it up.
Stop. This is. They're playing sad music when I die.
That's great.
Reloading.
No.
I don't even know how you can get to those. Like, I removed them from the about page. So how do you get the link for the sound alerts? You wanna play LOL? One day we can play LOL too if you want to.
Eliminated.
Smoked salmon.
Hawk out.
Reloading.
Don't push the smoke. Don't push it. All right, we're pushing the smoke. You're not coming here.
Can you heal me, Sky? Thank you.
There.
One coming from hookah.
Launching smoke.
Light planted.
What the? Breach has the vandal. Hookah.
One enemy remaining.
Take the vandal, hookah. Nice.
I wanted the vandal.
You're up.
Same.
Safe.
Puta?
Going
No?
back in.
They don't send it as a...
Gun here.
If I French, if
Thanks.
you add putain at the end of sentence, it's like saying fucking. Oh yeah, I know putain.
Yes.
A or B?
I don't know why I have the top G. Oh, I know.
no,
Because
we can go
before before I was watching Lomba.
Like the first round.
I don't know if you know the Italian creator Lomba. I was watching him playing Valorant and he was playing this song and I was stuck in my brain. So, in my brain. The top G song.
Molly. Yes. Off your feet. Yes.
I think that I fucked up the wall, but I don't want to tell him. Arya can heal? Oh no.
No, I'm good, I'm good.
Is it open? No, okay. So, oh. Yeah, it is open a little bit. I fucked up my friend.
On flank.
One enemy remaining.
Can you leave me a kill, Arya? Thank you.
No.
Tú tienes la categoría publicada, no está en Valorant. ¿No estoy en Valorant? ¿No estoy en Valorant?
Help a girl out, would you?
No.
Do it again? Lumba always view G play Valorant? No, that's not true. I never play Valorant. Oh, I could have bought for someone. Never mind.
It's okay.
Oh, now it's
I'm
okay.
scared I'm gonna get flashed.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what happened.
I'm blind.
One hookah. Hookah. I don't know what that wall was. I have no idea. One from long.
One enemy remaining.
Long.
I'm blind.
Good one.
See? Not that scary.
Oh, because I've dated it to a dual Q. You're right, JJ. You're right.
I really need a gym buddy.
Sorry.
It's better I'm not chatting with Tonto now. I don't want to put a frick. Okay, okay, I'm focusing.
Yes.
Aria.
You know what to do.
Are you Italian?
No.
No.
No. Yes.
No.
Oh no.
I'm coming with you. I'm scared of going alone.
I don't like this smokes.
One hookah.
That's the hook.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good work.
Of course.
Spike planted.
I'm blind.
Launching smoke.
Oh, I fucked up the wall again. How am I?
Last player standing.
Give it
One enemy remaining.
Oh, nice. Good job.
I am not just your
I
hero.
whiffed
was
for a
so good.
second. I whiffed.
You're
for a
so good.
second. Oh, thank you. No, you are so good, Arya.
Not so gentle after all.
I know you like the phrasing, so
Oh,
you are very good.
Please.
Oh.
I'm blushing.
Sorry. Sorry.
The
Request.
Valorant gameplay, your speed, is it too fast for you, Sunstown?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Biscotti for Subset Games Week. Yes, I'm doing that. Completely. Oh, I could have bought for someone. Never mind.
Get out of my way!
Right here.
Wait, wait.
Cutting their vision. Never some.
Oh my god, it's just better.
Cutting their vision.
Barriers here.
Oh, I don't have spike. Oh, who has?
Brim, can you come plant? Oh. No. 80 on jet.
Last player standing.
You got this.
I did so not realize they were there.
You need to get the spike. I don't trust
Yeah.
this guy.
No, me neither.
Oh.
Launching smoke.
If only I had Kami. You are right. You are so fucking right.
Taken down.
Nice shot.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left.
Just better.
Oh, yeah.
That hurt me so much.
Nice try.
Ruin their day.
Let me take it. Oof.
Can I get a drop?
I said oof.
Can you buy me?
Of course.
Thanks. They're running. It gives me flashbacks.
As one.
Out of 12 games like this and we're Gucci to go back to bronze, you would say, look at where low I am.
You want to play? Let's play.
Reloading.
Feeling sight.
Smoke's down.
Reloading.
Do you want to rotate? No,
Yeah.
push him. Don't, let's not push the smoke. Don't push the smoke. Don't push it.
Don't go first, you have res.
Yep. Jumping me. Not too fast for me. This is what I do. Oh.
Feeling sight.
Oh no, she have.
Oh, what a horrible.
Wall raised.
Off your feet.
70 Omen.
Oh my
I'm
god.
stunned.
You stay here.
Oh.
Stop harassing me, breach.
I can't. One is lamps.
Okay.
Holding lamps. It's not good.
I'll hold the lamps. Oh.
Player standing.
Fuck. See you
No.
clapping.
There's a silent clapping.
Prepare yourselves. We fight once again.
Gun here.
I don't think I ever want to see my face while I play Valorant.
Same. Still streaming. Help.
Fight!
Okay, wait.
We need to add my middle finger emote.
Oh, yes, I love that.
I need to use it every time.
Oh, it's such a good one. You can add it with 7 so it also looks better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sky.
Reloading.
Where are we going?
Reloading.
Maybe.
I'm going from long.
Okay. I have a funny face when I die in game, thank you. Should I take it as a compliment or...
Cutting their vision.
Smoke's down.
You have a spike, Ari?
Yeah. Oh! That's so unfortunate.
Ended.
At least I saved you with my body.
Yep.
I took the shots for you.
He just waited to kill us both, but
We're too smart for that.
oh no. That was terrible timing. Garden?
Arya is a Arya is a full-time mod.
Player standing.
One elbow.
You can play for your ulti.
Open up the sky.
Like, not now. What?
One enemy remaining.
Good one.
My power does not
It's lagging.
ask
It
for
is
aid,
lagging.
and you shall receive.
Let me see. If
That
I
was
can-
great, good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That was so good. Tell me whenever you see a lag, write in chat lag so I know. Because every time that I turn around, it's already finished lagging. Just not say, guys. You're the only person I will never trust.
Oh my gosh, it's spam.
Don't push that. Let's go away,
Can I heal? Oh, I'm healed by Scan. No.
No
Oh, I don't have.
wall raised.
Yes.
Oh, one teleported. This should be blocked. No, it is
Oh,
not.
there's someone here?
Yes.
What? I stuck.
Can somebody ping me the spike? Ping for me.
I gotcha.
The aggressive pinging.
Player standing.
Oh no, it's okay.
Unlucky.
Let's try.
Let's try. I can't believe I missed that. Just threw
Me too.
spokes on my face. And I
Guys,
couldn't
I-
see her.
The point is that I was so not expecting someone to be there.
Yeah, same.
What the
Because you
fuck?
all did it.
Yeah, like, what are you still doing? Oh, we're
I'm
saving.
inside this time.
I'm saving.
I'm taking a walk.
Wait, look at me.
Where are you?
Let's rotate.
Oh no, Ari.
No prisoners. Saving.
No.
Yes. I don't know why the voices of people in Valorant just cracks me so much.
Oh.
I love the ones that can talk with the
Those guys
characters.
who have old pistols.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to push
Don't
them
push
some
smoke. Don't
point,
push
though.
smokes though.
Let them push.
I'm going on a trip.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
This guy's nice.
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh my god, Aria, we're spending too much time together. I was going to say
True.
the exact same thing. Exact same thing. Are we running away?
I don't know what's happened. You should try lurking to be now.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Do you wanna continue A? They may expect a rotation now to be.
Okay, go.
Make noise B.
I can smoke.
Oh, they smoked again.
Smoke's down.
Oh,
God.
From Sour, maybe?
Go.
30
I'm
seconds
blind.
left.
same. Oh, they're all still here.
Nice shot.
Here.
I need to give.
Oh, you have to plant.
No charge wall.
No time.
Plant.
You don't have
Oh.
time, Julia.
10 seconds left.
Running.
That's like
dead.
you.
Spike down A.
I should have planted maybe somewhere else.
Protect me.
Last player standing.
Oh fuck.
That was bad. That was really bad. That was really bad.
Okay, it's okay. We
My
all
bad.
had pistols.
That was so bad of me. Oh my god. I Pikla. I trolled completely this time. You're right. I completely trolled this time. Stop trolling the game of this poor brim. You're right.
Let's push from long. One off with me.
Can you make sounds on A, please?
Stim beacon down.
I'm so pocket saging you, Aria. You have no idea.
Reloading.
I don't know what to do here. Yeah, we think we should go A. Nice.
Let's go A.
Very fast.
Valorante. That's it.
Smoke's
Nice.
No charges. Healing over
Oh,
here. Healing.
thank you.
Light planted.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna revenge you.
Revenge me?
Yeah, if they kill you, you know.
They don't say?
No, 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 wait, why?
Enemy spotted A.
One is backside. No, 120.
Ash, get up!
Enemy remaining.
Shit. I don't do shit.
Buff.
Do we have it? I don't fit it.
Yeah, you're fine.
Do we have it?
Yeah.
Ash, what the fuck? Thank you for the gifted one, but I couldn't hear shit. Are they
Last
loud for you
round
too?
in the half.
Are they loud for you too?
Before we lose them. Need a drop.
Can you buy me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
By the way, I'm doing on purpose to not do too many kills, otherwise the poor Infinity is gonna feel like they have to gift again and I don't want them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You're so considerate.
I know. Thank you. He went bad? Wait, why did Kami say to gift like a... What?
Still in sight.
What?
Oh my
Infinity
God.
went to bed? Oh, they didn't say goodnight.
Smoke's down. Dim beacon here.
Are we still sure that we want to push?
I don't think we should push this.
No, let's just go away. Stay on A.
Oh, no.
Chamber is for sure, like, they for sure left their thingy.
Sky is very low.
Oh my god.
Wall raised.
Cutting their healing.
He's behind the wall.
Light planted. Train harder.
Nice.
Nice.
So was low.
Fuck.
70.
This guy's here.
Good attack.
Zed is also there. Like,
Shit. I don't know where I am.
on side.
Yeah, on me.
Oh,
I can't see.
A spike is here.
One enemy remaining.
Go.
That's right.
You could have done it through the
I
box.
tried. I wanted to press it faster,
Switching
but
sides.
I couldn't.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. See, thank you so much for the gifted one. Please don't. What do we know, NT? I couldn't hear shit. Do you enjoy eating your toenail? Is that worth a ban? Let me go check a little bit. What did you do the last days? Up to you, mods. Up to you.
What?
No, there's someone that is being sketchy in chat.
Ban.
Some noisy B.
Hookah. Nice on hookah.
Launching smoke.
How did I do this?
Are they even pushing?
Enemy spotted.
In
B.
hookah, yeah.
Okay.
Or was a good wall?
Reloading.
I don't know if I wanna rotate.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
I hear A.
I go A.
I don't have.
One enemy.
Let me heal
remaining.
days.
Spike down A.
For you.
Spike
Planting.
planted.
Wait for us. Let's go together.
No.
Oh,
Nice. You're making me dizzy.
And act
He's-
like Neo is protein though. What are you talking about?
Was being sketchy?
As much as this world hurt me, it's too much. And I will prove to
I'm not in game. I'm not in game. Ha, you tried, Rising. You tried.
Keep them out.
I appreciate you for the gifted one though. Bad timing. Okay, come here. Okay, come here. Ooh. Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind.
Dead lamps. Oh my god.
Thank you for the heal.
Nice. There's a spectre on hook on lamps.
Spike down.
Spike.
One enemy remaining.
Spike is here.
Good plan.
Nice. Good job.
Yes.
Let's go. Look at her living her best like me.
Hello.
Thank you.
My city needs me.
I didn't try
I
it
can't
though.
be
See
away
the
for
next
long.
one to next.
Let's end this quickly.
Oh, you actually want me to win, Rising. Appreciate you. Say
I heard that meow.
Yep, you heard it. I think that it's.
Yeah.
I think that it comes all the way from my headphones.
Yeah.
Is that loud?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I should remove some of the game. Of the
I was
game.
just surprised.
Oh,
3B.
get away, get away.
Reloading.
Oh, fucked up. I fucked up the wall. I fucked up the wall. My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. I fucked up the wall.
Oh my god.
Stop with the meows, chat. What is Valorant?
Here.
Raise its push.
Ventry.
Holy. No, stop, chat. This is the worst moment to have meows.
Spike down B.
No way, nice bro.
One enemy remaining.
Where?
On me?
Last player
On me.
standing.
It was garden.
Let him play.
Wow.
Close one.
Nice try.
I hate that thing.
Stop meowing.
Paint. Check. Charges. Check. Break.
Guess
No.
Nowhere in sight.
Thanks.
Okay, that was the
Lug?
bonus round.
Okay, so we had lug. Let me fix that. Now it should be a bit better.
Smoke's down.
B.
Smoke say.
Jet on A. Boys coming.
I heard you.
I'm upset.
I'm upset. 50,000. Disrespect. Look, they're all there.
No way.
Wait for me, wait for me.
Spike planted. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Better run somebody.
Your duty is not over.
Nice. Good job. You're so good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Il mio tipo tuo canale che è rimasto molto sorpreso e non per il tuo livello di... Oh, thank you, Ale. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Remember to talk to each other out there.
Hack.
If we communicate,
You know where I am, bro. I saw your
You're
ass.
throwing like all of your... It's not even his gun. Everything.
I saw his entire...
You mean? What the?
Yeah, you saw where I am. Swear. What time is it? Oh, 10:30. It's fine. Steps on B.
Spike down B.
Oh, that's you.
Don't interrupt someone working intently on a puzzle.
You're the ticket.
Chances are you'll hear some crosswords. Right here.
Oh.
They went A.
They B? Who's shooting?
28.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
That was lucky.
What?
No, they're already on side. They're already on side.
Yes.
Planting. Ooh.
Get wrecked.
Aria, oh my goodness. You queen.
Look at me. I know that I am by
If you
your
do any
side.
puzzle, chances are you'll hear some crosswords. I mean, some of you like the that jokes. Not bad. Give meow your energy. Chat does not need meows. Please don't give meows. No, not even woof. That jokes are very popular. Yes, I agree. You're very good.
Get out of my way.
Come drop again. As long as like by lag I mean when you stop seeing
I've got your
clearly
trail.
or like smoothly and start seeing like everything going wild.
Fuck, I can't see shit.
Okay. Two bathroom.
You wanna push it? It's together. The one's in bathroom. Sky.
Shot apple. Shot up.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Coming from you. Got one. Let me hear you.
Man, for sure.
Healing you.
Last
Oh,
player standing.
99.
Buried.
What flames?
He has ulti. Bro, don't stick it. You don't have her.
Okay.
Deep breaths, everyone.
Okay.
Your hearts
If
are
it's still dropping, I think that I have to decrease a little bit the quality here, even though it's gonna hurt.
Can I get a drop?
Apply? Did I? No.
What?
Can I get a
No,
drop?
I'm trying to understand the...
Are we saving? What's happening? No, we're buying.
Yeah.
Let's
Can you buy and buy?
Sorry, thank you, Eddie. Do not. Make it full screen. What do you mean full screen? No, I cannot do full screen, otherwise I cannot... Oh wait, maybe streaming I can, I don't know. Do you hear anything?
enemy spotted B.
Here.
Reloading. One down.
You can just cap frame rate or decrease image quality for better performance. That's what I was
Are
thinking.
they rotating?
One long.
Oh,
Go away, go away. Might be Omen, fake Omen. Somebody can be.
Landing A.
Spike planted.
yes, I have all the default settings. I suck at this game.
Chamber is on B.
Found one.
Cover showers? Yeah.
Fuck.
On the right. He's on the right.
I hate
Last
here.
player standing.
One more showers. Omen showers. Bro. No, it's because I started this stream already without thinking that it was going to be laggy.
But I can patch a bullet hole or two. Let me know if you need
I'm not
healing.
used to like play games on stream.
Can I get a drop?
No.
I need to save.
You need to save? Oh shit. Should we all save
Yeah.
together?
Can we save, please?
I can get your Spectre if you want to.
It's okay.
Steps on B. Steps on B. They're hookey. One garden, one hookah.
Open up the sky.
Are they rotating?
No idea. They were still like raping.
Spike planted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me steal a weapon. Oh, one was still there.
Sorry.
I think you wanted to say. If you just exclamation mark rank. Oh, Valorant is there.
Enemy spotted A.
Bro, what the fuck happened?
Reloading.
Last player standing.
My bad there. That was so bad.
Yay, it was 0.
Stay alive. I want their life, not yours.
Okay. We need to win this. Ari, we got this.
Yes.
You're gonna get back to Silver 3 and I'm gonna stay in Silver 3. No, I'm not.
In
Silver
one
2.
day. One day.
Yeah.
We'll
One
get
day in the future.
One
man.
day.
So far away future.
If
So far away.
yeah, Silver 3 is actually the highest rank in the game.
Yeah.
You want to play? Let's
Steps on B.
Wall raised.
Nice one. Why are we all
Don't-
rotating?
Yeah, we should not. Let's not over rotate. Someone says A and A.
I'm staying. I'm staying.
There we go.
Bridge is long.
I hear A.
There's steps on A. Come back A, please. What?
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
She was me.
Cutting their vision.
Ah! She
Whoa.
is.
Defuse.
Nice.
Good one. TFF means troppo fucking forte. Okay, thank you.
Match
Appreciation.
point.
Check out their last breath.
G for gaming. EA, it's in the game. By she, you mean Arya.
Can you buy me Sky? Thank you.
I can buy you Vandal.
Thank you.
No problem.
Again, steps on B. Don't over rotate, but steps on B.
I'm not watching garden.
Someone garden. Okay, they're coming A, B, sorry.
Enemy spotted B.
No.
Return to dust. Here.
Two garden.
Enemy spotted B.
One more garden.
For you. I've got your trail.
Maybe teleported A.
Yeah.
Planting A.
Spike planted.
You can go window sky. Oh my god.
Oh, that's so unlucky. Lamps.
Last player
I
standing.
whiffed so hard.
On your left. Yeah. Right back.
I whiffed so hard.
It was very unlucky.
One
timing,
lamp.
the ult.
Nice try.
Damn.
Stand tall. We are Valorant. We are fighters.
I'm poor.
Oh, I'm poor too.
I'm saving.
Will I ever do custom? I don't know if there's enough people that play Valorant to do custom, you know? Rising, what's going on?
Are we saving or not?
I'm forcing.
Oh. Okay, I'm forcing to.
Rising, thank you for the 5. What is that?
I have no blinds.
Get out of my
Oh
way.
no. Do you hear anything anywhere? Rising, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate you so much. You bet Terry tomatoes. Do you want it down there?
Nice.
Satchel out.
One.
Close to- I'm blind.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
No.
Oh no.
I know.
We
you're
need
right,
to
though.
win this one. We need to
Make sure to follow my pack in. The latest rock to
We
the
need
end.
it. We really need it.
I don't want to go to overtime.
I know. We need
Please, to overtime.
My ult's ready.
Are you sure with Odin? Don't laugh like that.
Why are you laughing? It's not funny.
I really need this win. I really need it.
Please. Don't push, play safe.
Did you hear it?
I think BA.
Are they?
Oh.
Are they?
Okay, somebody buff. Oh no.
Try to revive me, please.
Yeah. You call it easy.
Thank you.
Spike
Get
planted.
fucked. Oh, that's not us. Oh, I thought it was you. I thought it was
One
you.
enemy remaining.
GG.
The Odin.
Defenders win.
I thought it was him. I wanted to revive. I think thank you for the 5. They were the good ones. The good ones. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Back to silver 3. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, I lost just 1 in today's games.
Nice.
Do you wanna go one more?
Actually, yeah. No.
It's only 10:30. It's fine. I'll let
Yeah,
you
yeah.
talk-
Only 10:30.
I'll let you talk with the chat while I go get water. Be right back.
Oh. Hi, chat. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Kami, stop deleting the truth, please. Yeah, should I troll and make Julia lose her hour?
Match found.
Stop lying that you can hear me, please. You know that I have the stream. Oh. Insta look right. Nice. Askelon, you're so I believe you without comment. Thank you.
What happened?
Nothing.
Wait.
Someone install Ukraine, by the way. Oh, can we dodge? Please.
Yes, I'm dodging. How does
Can
it
you
work?
dodge?
How do I dodge? Like I don't pick anyone?
Just don't pick anything.
Okay, I'm dodging. Bye, I'm dodging.
No, please, no, please, no, please, no, please, no, please, no, please.
It's definitely not your fault, Tarara boy. Definitely not your fault.
Choose your agent.
Excusez-moi, je peux pas. Au revoir. Bye bye. Au revoir. Au revoir. No, I don't lose points because I never dodge. I very rarely dodge. Au revoir. So, okay. No, that just leave the prediction. Leave the prediction because we don't know, right? We don't know yet. Illegal around stream. Hi, Hank. Hello.
Hi, Hank.
Oh, did you get water, snack?
I have water.
Okay.
I ate pizza.
We don't know. You have pizza with what? Don't
Like-
say it.
What?
With what?
No, it didn't have pineapple. Okay, relax.
Okay.
Chill.
Okay.
But it could have though, you know.
You could have, because you're from Greece and you don't understand pizza. That's fine.
No, I have taste.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes. Wait, I want to see the prediction. What?
So on Sunday we're making a.
So we are okay.
Match
Chat.
found.
If you don't know, Saturday, not Sunday.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so Saturday, Arya, Kami, and I are gonna.
Hello, my wonderful team. Hello.
Oh, I already love you.
Hello.
Wow, thank you.
It's nice. Yes.
Wait, who talked? The certified lover?
No, guap.
Oh.
What do you want to play, guys?
Why are you touching?
What? Why? Come on.
What do you mean, bro? I've been carrying the last 2 games, but you do you. GG's. Enjoy your mom's love.
Oh, the sex is nice.
Oh, wow.
Love that.
Yeah, guap. This is a normal game.
Yeah. Valorant community sucks.
No, only some people.
Yeah, sure.
You
world
see, you're
sucks in
Valorant
general.
community and you're nice.
Ooh.
Wait, certified lover, by the way. Who are you lover of? Certified lover of yourself, I see.
Be homophobic.
My bitch
My
is-
bitch is gay.
Let's go.
I am both shield
I'm a pocket sage certified lover. Men's. Normal. Report him. I think that they were just joking. Most probably they were. I hope they were like ironic.
I don't know. I'm not sure anymore.
I'm joking. I'm joking. GG's. Arya, there is so much expectation right now. You know it.
I'm
right?
scared. I know I feel pressure now. Why did he say that?
Because now you feel the pressure. It's okay.
I feel the pressure in general. I don't need to put pressure because I'm a woman.
It is ranked. Chat, I need all of you to send all of your focus to this game. Let me also increase the music for you.
Please, we have a point to
music-
prove now. Be positive. Thank you.
Yeah, be extremely positive. This is the right music. This is the music for the gym also. Kami, don't be... Kami is being toxic. I'm timing out Kami. She's coming out at the end of this game. Bye, Cami.
Actually, bye.
Of course. Of course. Lose. Jake is also being toxic. Timed out after this game. Enjoy.
I choose to trust you, Brimstone. Show me I made the right
Enjoy. No.
Can we also time out Zeko that voted for that we're gonna
No,
lose?
Zeko said nothing. Zeko. No,
Yeah,
voting,
but he
voting
voted.
is fine. Voting is fine. Voting is fine. Just like. Ciao, boy.
Good job. What the hell? I don't like it. Hello, certified lover.
Salam.
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 Okay. No more music. Focus.
Launching smoke.
I'll find you.
Do I have spike? Yeah.
Smoke's down.
Ready for long?
Spike planted. Reloading. There.
Fine. Does someone have flank?
There. Reloading.
Reloading.
Okay. What a good round.
One enemy remaining.
What was that? Oh god.
Yeah, we're staying in silver forever.
Tomorrow's day off for me. It's kind of day off, but it's also like
Hey, certified lover.
I will most probably be I don't know, playing some games.
Save Julia.
Saving.
Oh, yeah.
Can someone get this?
Anyone feeling generous?
Pulse control. Yeah, I'm gonna be more focused.
I'll find you.
2, 3, go.
Fully smoked.
Cutting their vision.
Dim beacon down.
Nice. Reloading. Reloading.
Light planet.
Here. Enemy removed.
Oh my god.
Oh, I jumped by mistake.
Molly.
Both side.
Last player standing.
Wait for
One
one
enemy
shot.
remaining.
Good job.
Oh, good job.
Nice.
I kiss you for it. Nice mark.
You see? There's still plenty of fun to be had.
GG to Raze. Raze was really good. Raze did
Yeah.
really, really good. Ari,
Yeah?
don't let them go into your brain, alright?
No, I'm not.
Okay, okay. Yes. Beating them on their buyout. Yeah, that was good, Sage.
Hola, señorita.
Hola.
Hola.
Smoke's down.
Still in sight. There.
Enemy
Neon
plant the
close
spike.
here.
Chill out, chill out, chill out.
You want it back there?
Launching
Yeah, I
smoke.
think.
Bring them down. Cutting their vision. Here. Good attempt.
You're blocking me? Okay.
Enemy spotted.
Back there.
Oh, I had run of bullets.
Somebody out. Take hold. Wall raised. Spike planted.
Ah! Why the fuck did I run like that? Why the fuck did I run like that? Vamos a ver, why? Oh.
One enemy remaining.
Grenade.
Good one.
Blob blob power.
We don't talk about that.
They
We
don't
don't talk
have
about
a
that.
single life worth saving.
Okay.
I love your skin, Brimstone.
Nope.
Here.
It's
I was
certified
certified.
lower.
Please.
Are you French by any chance? Certified.
Yeah.
Oh, I could not say.
Nice one.
Got you, bitch.
I'm blind.
I'm blind too. Oh, what? Fuck. I'm gonna.
Can't use this yet.
Okay. Oh, okay.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Oh my god, we're a good team.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
Even with 2 women.
Oh yeah.
What do you say, certified lover?
Certified lover, come on, say something.
Where's he talking?
Dumping.
Something.
Something.
I wanted to do the tech. What is that Lomba Technica? What is that? Oh, you want me to put some music for you? I can put the music back for you if you want to.
Oh, that was not nice.
Later. Oh, I didn't buy the wall.
Okay, you're inside.
I'm
So many things happening.
Yeah. I'm stuck.
Don't body block me! Shit. Let's just rotate, no?
Yeah.
Or actually, no, we have it, we have it.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna reanimate right now. We have, it's a 3v1.
Nice.
It's a 3v1, there's no need.
Yeah.
I want a skin!
Where are you from, guys?
Italy, where are you from? España.
Anyone feeling generous?
Are you from
I'm
España?
from Germany. No.
Oh.
Res.
Yeah.
Fils de pute.
Oh wow.
Ta gueule.
Yeah.
Oh, Nella, bro.
Didn't say what annoyed French.
He's
Res,
trying my
come,
French.
Toma.
Oh. Sadness. And can you tell me something to say in German? Tell me something to say in German.
Okay, let's go.
I'll find you.
Fully smoked.
No charges left.
Why are the...
Okay, guys.
Let's rotate.
Rotate.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Be
They're
careful to
wasting
the
all
mid.
their ults.
Sir.
Nice.
Careful mid. Can someone go mid, please? There we
Oh,
go.
no.
Okay, you made it.
She was alone.
Oh. She must be around here. Oh, that's you, okay. Wow!
What?
Spike down B.
Ik liep het echt genoeg.
I have the spike.
I enjoyed that, thank you.
Both here.
How can someone tell you something to say in German? They would just say something, you know? You just say Ik lieg die en I repeat it.
One enemy remaining.
Good one.
Nice.
Nice one.
Gone here.
Mid probably so you can take space with it. Yeah.
Do you know? I want their life, not yours.
Don't you think it will be a mod again? Alright, come. I'm giving you the mod. Are you gonna be nice without being like, you're gonna lose him, you're losing. Me. Danke für die Hilfe.
Need equipment.
Danke für die Hilfe.
Thank you, Lena.
Oh, that sounds so sexy.
No problem.
What?
What does that mean?
Thank you for helping. Welcome back, Jake.
Nice. I can't play like this.
Fuck my butt! Oh my god!
We can rotate. I think we.
You wanna rotate? Let's rotate.
Can't use this.
I'm scared of neon. I'm scared of neon. I'm scared of neon. I'm very scared of neon. 28 to heal. Jake is free.
I dropped the spike.
I got it.
Nice.
Up.
Wait.
I know I have ulti.
Launching smoke.
Satchel out.
Oh fuck. Be careful behind you guys.
Blank.
Yeah.
No charges left.
Don't forget. I know I won't forget. Thank you. This is my.
Oh!
This is my pocket sage wall.
I whiffed.
One enemy remaining.
Last one is main.
Here.
Honestly, probably saving.
Running.
Yeah.
No, they cannot get on the wall. I elaborated
Good job,
that
guys.
wall perfectly.
Nice.
They cannot do shit there. Hi, Deku. Hello.
Remember to talk to each other out there.
Forgot to make you editor?
Communicate.
Maybe you will not be coming. Did he call bum? I don't know. Did he? Oh, let me play the music for you, chat, if you want me to. I'll let you like this, and then I remove it entirely for me.
I must stop their Reina.
Is it better for you?
No. Ow.
Come on. You're so nice.
Smoke's down.
Enemy spotted B.
Launching smoke.
Reloading. Here.
Line up.
Thank you for the wall, I guess. Ooh. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, I fucked up. I generally fucked up.
I think we should have rotated.
Oh, no, she's still there.
Spike down B.
Fucked up.
One down.
I fucked up so bad. You have no idea. I couldn't go forward. I couldn't go back.
Satchel out.
Fake rotate.
30 seconds left.
Exactly what I was thinking about.
Run!
10 seconds left.
This guy.
God. No!
Got one.
Both here.
Do it, do it!
Play with my head, please.
able to reach back holes from the back of Belong. Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Oh
You're
my
so
goodness,
good.
race.
Good job.
I kiss you all, my team.
Drink some water, reload your mags, and let's get back out there.
I like him so much. I like this guy so much. It's so nice. Oh my god.
Can someone get
Oh. Never
Yeah,
mind.
sure.
I don't think he's smurfing.
No, no, no.
People have good games, you know.
What about this game Certified Lover? Are you thinking about it? I,
Oh, I need a heal.
Reloading. Launching smoke.
you see, it can go. It's just I'm stupid most of the times and I don't do it right. Oh no.
Geronimo!
This guy.
Oh my god, I'm waiting.
Spike down B.
Why am I so fucking down? Why did I go there? I could have planted there. I could have planted there. I know, I know.
Launching smoke.
I went with all my balls and dick in. You know, like entirely. I keep doing that. I know.
Spike planted.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god, Raze!
Wow.
I'm impressed.
Ah, bro, I'm not swerving. I swear to God, I'm not swerving. Bro, that's my
someone
game
get
to gold.
You're
I need
what?
to gold. I need 6 points for gold. I'm still at 3.
Oh, nice.
Oh. Can you buy, please?
Yeah,
And you're forgetting shield. Good job,
Oh,
please.
Oh god.
So good.
Where are you?
Keep doing that. Oh no.
I'm reviving you.
Your duty is not over.
So what I mean?
Welcome to my world.
Wait for my heal.
Enemy spotted A.
Rain and Viper art.
Fuck is that ultimate?
Here.
KO here.
Here. Careful here.
You're done. Reloading.
Fuck.
Opponent.
Oh!
I got the bloop bloop. I'm gonna.
You will not kill my ally.
Holy shit.
Spike planted.
And I'm gonna wall here.
Barrier created.
Not coming over there. Thank you.
You are powerless.
This is not a good plant for the position.
Yeah. Let's go.
For you. Enemy spotted B.
Careful.
Let's
Last player standing. One
Nice,
enemy
good job.
remaining.
Well done.
Good job, good job.
Beautiful.
I am a mountain.
Thank you.
Prepare your
Did you say bitchful or
fight
beautiful?
once again.
Beautiful. Like amazing.
Okay, okay.
Beautiful.
I got you, brother, from Paris.
Beautiful.
Need equipment.
Yeah.
Are you from Paris?
Why does it sound so angry
Close.
and not happy to be alive? Were you from Toulouse?
Oh. No. Not Toulouse, but
Rising.
Toulouse is a nice town.
Zakobi right now.
Yeah, he's so happy.
Fuck, I don't have Vandal.
Ari, Rising just gifted a gift. One to Soy.
Wait.
Oh, you're alone?
I know. I missed everything.
Last player standing.
To lose. Told you, nice down.
Last round before the switch.
Can I have the blue blue blue?
Spend it.
Who has it?
Of course.
Can I also have the blue blue?
Course.
Need equipment. Thanks.
Thank you. Oh,
Everybody
this is
want to
not.
play
This
blue,
is. This is not blue blue blue.
It's
You tricked me.
Reloading.
You
Can you
tricked
buy
me.
me, Julia?
Fuck.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You have no money?
It's a bisou machin là.
Ask Primson, ask.
Weapon here.
Buy. Someone buys.
Ask.
Oh.
Ask.
Oh, no one had money.
Use the gun.
Gun
Oh.
here.
Weapon here.
Oh my god. What's
Oh,
happening?
okay.
Oh, Mario.
Enemy spotted mid.
I'm blind.
Same. Oh, you're so much better.
Healing. Find you.
Viper's close.
Marked one.
Dragon.
Yeah, I got all the base.
Enemy spotted.
She did. Not that one though.
Oh my god.
I slowed her.
Stay dessert.
20 seconds for you.
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Oh shit! Behind us.
Okay.
Oh wait. Ari, I'm
don't
going.
like
I'm going back A. I'm going back A.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Standing.
flanked.
One enemy remaining. Spike down B. 30 seconds
Big
left.
on you.
Don't like this.
It's fine. Once you kill her, don't think about time. Once you kill her, it's done. Oh, on your left, you heard it.
Oh!
Fuck.
Let's try.
I thought she was
Don't
behind the
worry.
wall.
Yeah, me too.
Got it.
Switching sides. They're just batteries.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. 9-3 curse. Don't. She baited
I'm
dropping
staying
a
on
pistol.
mid.
I agree.
And tell me if you see some people, I can put my smoke.
Okay.
Okay. Oui.
So guys, let's go. Just fast
Ça va.
information, okay? For
Yeah.
fast rotation. And
Yeah. Viper wall on A.
Oh,
Okay.
no Viper.
Rena, can you stay alone there? Okay.
Where are you? Darius here.
Oh, there was a fake wall.
There's two below.
Nice.
Oh, Viper is mid. and
Neon mid,
she
neon
take
mid.
50.
Oh, planting A.
Spike planted.
I'm wounded.
Whee!
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Last one mid
Diffuse.
life.
Oh.
Nice.
How did they survive?
Bro, where this Viper coming from?
I opened their mind.
I can see I am VIP. Wait, I didn't make you mod? Mod? La Capare. You should be mod now, Kami. You're neither VP or no mod according to the members.
She VIP'd herself.
Kami, did you VP yourself?
Kami's retiring. This is done.
Kami, I cannot make you mod then. Okay, whatever.
Ugly skin.
Wait. Oh, I fucked up. I fucked up my wall.
Nothing.
Really slow?
This
It's
fade
coming.
just keeps pushing mid and die.
Finish down.
I still hear steps on A.
Viper's here.
I'm coming.
Reyna and Viper.
Enemy down.
Oh. All's on site.
One enemy remaining.
Reloading.
Good one, Ali.
Sage was long.
You didn't plant yet.
No.
Can we please not have zero more while we're trying to play? I agree.
What?
So what happens if you make Arya VP? She just doesn't get VP.
It helps.
Jaffa was asking not to have a civil war.
Can someone buy me a Red Bull?
Oh, whoa.
Thank you.
You missed the ooh.
I'm Mr. Ooh. Sage, are you from Italy?
Yeah.
You know Italian rap?
Kinda.
You know Dark Polo Gang?
Yeah, a little.
Oh.
Do you know them?
Belong? Yeah, I listen to them.
Oh, which one do you like the most?
Oh, Mafia is my favorite.
Mafia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know it. Certified, let me heal you. I'm not gonna get healed from a woman.
Enemy spotted B.
Kaio one shot.
I hit them.
Why is he peeking? He's gonna die. You're behind them, Julia.
What do you mean?
I mean, like they're right there, below.
Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
Last one very low HP.
Here.
You got him, Sage?
Fuck! Look, I appreciate you, but...
Why don't they use... I hate this skin.
Look, thank you so much. Thank you for the friend. Appreciate you. I had the choice.
Why VIP?
Mambolosco, Dark Polo Gang, Enzo Dong.
Enzo Dong?
Yes. Enzo Dong.
Look, Viper wall on A.
I can't spell people anymore, I'm sad.
You are powerless.
Don't pick, don't pick.
Okay, you ulti also on A? Breaking my wall on A?
Welcome to my world.
Holy fucking fuck!
Spike planted.
What the fuck was that?
Oh, Viper's still.
Goner.
What the fuck was that?
Middle.
Oh my god, my neck.
Last player standing.
Oh my god.
Quado!
We trolled that so hard.
Not try.
Sorry, I got extremely scared. I got extremely scared.
Make their fear your weapon.
I thought someone in game was screaming, or someone in the room was screaming. Oh my god. So, certified lover, did you change your mind
know-
about women in the game? Since you're bottom fragging?
You know what you're losing, guys? It's because you don't have blue bloop.
Oh my god, thank you.
Are we eco or buying?
Buying? I'm buying.
No, bye. Bye,
Okay.
bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye bye. Oh, hell yeah.
Wanna be a fool for you.
I heard someone. Didn't I?
B.
Got you, bro.
I'm coming
At
to
the
the
B.
oh.
Spike planted.
Nice kill, certified
Another
lover.
one. Bye bye.
120. Oh no.
Revive,
Go revive.
revive.
No, not me. For
Why
obvious
not?
reasons.
Your duty is not
Why
Nice,
is
good job.
Last player standing.
Nice.
Okay, that was such bad.
All good, all good.
Adi, again.
Don't
Their
worry.
fear is a track, and the track is fresh.
Let's do echo. Don't buy. Let's do echo next round, full buy and win, okay?
Why are you not mod, Arya? What happened?
Kami happened.
What did she do?
Go.
She made me VIP. I'm saying down.
Because you've been.
Please. Hate here.
Can we stop being mean? Oh fuck! I jumped out.
Oh my god.
My bad.
Please, Pochita.
Okay, I'm
What happened?
Kami in the corner. Then I'm anti-mode.
Oh, I
Arya.
missed.
Oh,
Listen, I hit the body. Okay, it happens.
I removed your timeout. I'm gonna mod you.
Gun here.
We can Kami VIP without
Spike planted.
Arya. And then I anti-mode Kami. Oh, so complicated. I anti-mode Kami and then I VIP Lakapari again.
You said it in game.
Oh.
Can you repeat
Sorry,
it, please?
what?
Be long. I will rush there.
Okay.
Hacker in the server is
What you need,
wondering-
Raina, my darling? What?
Nothing.
Oh my darling. I'm gonna go with my
Faith, can you
famous-
not pick me, please? Or at least do it safely. They're pushing A.
The hunt begins.
Look at this trick.
I got destroyed. Nice.
No.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Weapon here.
Why did I tell you, chat? This is a good one.
Bully
Wow.
her. Nice.
GG.
Nice. Good job, team. Thanks for the
Well
game.
done. I love you guys.
For the
Love you
Fragger
too.
certified
Love you
lover. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me happy.
What makes me happy is seeing the people that voted against us lose their points.
Yeah, same. They don't trust. I'm gonna go for this crazy idea. Do you wanna go for one more?
Yes.
Okay, nice. I added what's a raise just for the future.
Oh,
anyway,
nice.
go. Let's go. I can manage the prediction because I voted. What do you mean? You cannot.
Wait,
because-
I'll be back.
You go for it. If you vote, you cannot manage the prediction. I can do it. I think. Let me see.
Match found.
Let me. Will it be a win? Yes. Yes. Complete. Yes. Alex. Alex, thank you so much for that. I cannot give editor like here. Alex, thank you so much for that. Thank you for the 2 months. Oh, I need to stretch my my
no.
leggies. Yeah, they stole my Sage.
Oh, but you
What?
don't play Sage.
Here,
in
I
the
can go.
top.
I can go neon.
I can.
What, Cammy? What? What's going on?
I'd like to play Sky. But if we don't have smokes, I'll play Viper.
Oh, I know. Wait, I can play smokes. You're right. Who do you want to play?
Play Viper if we need it. Viper is better.
You prefer Viper? Go Viper then. I'll go Neon.
Oh.
Oh,
That's
thank
fine.
you.
I'd rather play Sky anyway.
Okay. Hello, team. We could have talked before to see if someone was.
Hello.
You study.
It's too late now. There's
No,
stuff.
I'm not good. Brimstone is not good here. No, Cami, you have to cook this Saturday. Cami, you have to cook. Oh yeah, I was saying this Saturday I'll be live with Cami and Arya. We'll be all the three of us. We will like share one thing that we're good at, like a good dish that is traditionally a dish that is traditional to our countries where we're originated from. And
I love how this is the first time I'm hearing about this, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
welcome
I don't
in.
know what's happening.
I got it. So, I'll tell you what will happen. It will happen that wait. Okay, what will happen is that we will be. I have to remove the music, otherwise I cannot hear my own thoughts. Anyway, you, Cami, and I will be saying one dish that we like, that we're good at making, and it has to be like a traditional one from our country. And right after, we're gonna put them in like a wheel or something. We're gonna spin it, and then what that ends up, we are gonna be cooking.
Oh.
Viper 1 and B.
Oh,
pet.
Cypher is mid.
I'll keep mid.
Cypher is there. Oh.
Pat, thank you so much for 3 months. But thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate you. Oh, I guess that. So then we choose the one that comes out is the one that we have to cook, and then at the end, Charlie is gonna choose who did it best. Without tasting it. Without tasting it. Thank you for the 3 months, Betsa.
Spike down
Oh.
B.
Lights out.
What is that flesh?
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Time to jump.
Thank you for the pets. Jake.
30 seconds left.
I used to. Wait.
Again.
This doesn't work anymore? This used to move the gain of that one. Oh. No. I don't remember how to do stuff. I forgot. Did we win?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm buying.
I'm out of here.
Sorry.
Go, go, go.
Careful, someone lurks mid.
Watch out.
There's always one here, right?
One enemy
Oh,
remaining.
nice. She was in the window.
So bad.
End of story.
Nice.
Don't love you.
Even with
Prime.
numbers, anything can
Yes, I'm still going. How are you,
Remember.
Prime? How is your evening looking like?
Gotta go.
Shall we have another win? I mean, if you haven't done your bet yet, still think of splash parties. Oh, you want to do a Fortnite one tomorrow? If you want to play some Valorant, Fortnite tomorrow, I'm down. This is our bonus one, right?
Yeah.
I think it's A.
I'm coming.
Oh, one is mid.
Guaro, stop.
3A coming.
Hawk out! Blinded.
Scared from mid.
You have also dog, but yeah.
Yeah.
Scout destroyed.
She's back there.
Hawk out!
Oh my god.
Oh, you're
I
both
fucked that
blinded
up.
at least.
Oh my god. I fucked that up.
That's fine.
No one
Weird.
saw that.
Oh, you're going right into it. Yeah.
It's fine. That
timing-
was
the timing
that was
so-
their bonus round.
Yeah.
These parasites aren't going to take one step past this place. Go, go, go!
Can I redeem Music Master during the game? I don't know. So got this going is flashback exactly. That's Arya right there. Sócrates. I am asking Arya to stream. Do you agree? She should stream from my channel. Steps on B. Many steps on B.
Yeah, I clear.
Smart move! Take this! Welcome to my world! Bye-bye!
One enemy remaining.
Take this!
78.
They were not good.
Good one.
Nice.
Foco, I'm from Italy. Where are you from?
Stick with me, Neon. We'll run circles.
You have to figure out the Fortnite situation. Why? What'd you? Oh, Mose, it's just because during the game I cannot search for a song and put it up, right? Makes sense. But I usually those ones works for Anche tu, ciao. Usually those ones work when I do study streams.
They're coming, eh?
I'm out of here!
Yep.
There's always
I
a
know
lurker.
exactly where you are.
There's always a freaking lurker.
Powerless.
Don't. Oh, there's already one flanker? Alright. Okay.
Watch out! This way! Go, go, go! Bad move!
Oh my god. Going half? Oh, I thought I could do it. I got it.
What's the
One
bricks?
enemy remaining.
Oh, because you have job and wife. Fair. Behind.
Oh, I asked bricks.
Sorry. I thought you saw it from. Sorry.
No.
My bad.
I don't care if there are 5 of them.
Is it
or
called
50 of
bricks?
them. Let's
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Gotta go!
It's okay in the meantime she's hurting me so much. Well, I hate Neon Salty, but I can do this so I can save.
Here we go!
You see it?
This Viper will A. Was Spike?
Spike down A.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
My
Vero,
ult's not
thank you.
heal up, squad.
Reloading. Spike is A. Reloading.
I'll get the Orba. Oh, never mind.
One enemy
behind
remaining.
What does behind you mean?
I found him. He's dead. Where's the Spike?
Oh, we don't have it.
We don't have it anymore?
I'll get the orb. So you have ulti. I don't think we ever had it.
No, we have Spike. It's here.
Oh,
Spike's here.
we have Spike.
Hawk out!
Viper, you can stay close to the Spike maybe. Just saying. Inky, I'm not Inky.
Thirty
And
seconds
that
left.
it was a good strategy, right? It was a very good strategy.
The hunt begins.
Yeah, I'm not listening to music. The music that you're hearing, I'm
Oh.
not hearing it. Music is just for you. Oh, she has it. Oh, you have time.
10 seconds left. Last player
No.
Playtime?
She doesn't have time. No time.
Oh yeah, just hide. Got one. Hi, lady. Hello,
I
lady.
know what must be done.
Thanks.
Gotta go.
No, for real, never played Neon. Should I actually use ult alone to try and save? I mean, yeah, when you're saving, you can just use the ult, but I don't like the ult. Like, it can be very good, but you have to aim at the head, and I'm never aiming at the head. I'm zero aim there.
Move.
What is it? Dude, even tung dan labi.
I'm out of here.
Not I'm crazy.
Watch out. Here. Enemy spotted. Mid. Here.
One tunnel.
They're still coming B.
Spike down B.
That's super scary.
Found one. Hawk out. Blinded.
Last player standing.
Time to hunt.
Tyra is so good with so many agents, by the way. She's really like
Spike
I've never
planted.
used Sky ever in my entire life. Plus, I love how she's like very calm
they're both
when
there.
she's like. Kami was upset. Was she actually?
Remember, bullets hurt.
Was she Kami? Nah. Do you think that Kami left because she was upset or she had to sleep?
Probably the second one.
Okay. Yeah, all the plus 50 shield.
Ah, break's over.
Can we save?
Oh. Yep. They're coming on B.
Take this. Coming through. Go, go, go.
Oh, we have
Spike
set.
down B.
Spike spotted B.
You can take orb if you want to, you're better.
Squad. Spike's here.
Don't pick her, please.
No, okay.
Hawk out.
Yeah, you have a ghost.
I'm out of here.
Do we still have Spike?
Go, go, go.
Yeah. They're pushing me.
One enemy remaining.
Holy fuck.
30 seconds left.
Nice. Wait, is Sage a woman?
Healing over here.
Is Sage a
Please
woman?
stay alive.
I think so.
I hate making new friends.
Hey, Sage.
Hi, Sage.
Hello? Are you 10-year-old?
What?
Are you a young kid?
Am I what?
A young kid?
No.
Okay, you're a woman. Nice. Hi, hi. How are you doing? Sorry, I didn't mean to be creepy.
To make it so weird every time.
Sorry. I really don't know how to not make it creepy, you know? It's not that easy. Oh, I was not looking. I was... Definitely not creepy. Thank you.
Oh my god. Cypher window.
Headset jetzt.
One enemy remaining.
Was it
Spike
window?
down B.
Oh, it was so not window.
Nice. Good job. Yeah, but he was earlier, you know? When I said it was like 1 minute ago.
I can buy for you, Viper.
Or a girl?
What?
You are the younger boy or a girl?
A girl.
Okay.
Can I buy you?
Yeah.
Anyone have funds to spare?
Are you free with the Sage?
The hunt begins.
It actually sounded like it was, you know, trying to lure a little kid.
There's one towards B.
Okay. Oh! My bad. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I knew it and I still...
You will not kill my allies.
Oh my god.
It's okay, it's not good.
I know exactly where you
I hate it here.
Hi, Alexis. What was the bra for?
You are powerless.
Spike
I'm
planted.
trying to learn. Oh, well, shoot that. Oh. Oh.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
You know where to stay, the one. Good one.
That was the most random shit that I've ever seen in my life.
That was so lucky.
I will not die.
But it's okay, we have to boost your ego.
Oh my god, good job.
This is what Ike's weapon here.
Pick something nice to kill them.
Aim beast.
Good job, beautiful. I don't like my ulti, I don't want to use it.
Do it.
Alright. Yeah, ask me. I just have to, you know, aim it yet.
Here we go. Hawk out.
Oh fuck. Wait.
Oh, I shocked myself. Oh, yeah. Good job, beautiful.
I got B.
Almost out.
One is mid, Cypher. I'm stuck.
Spike down B.
Where are them?
I don't know.
Running low.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for the bless.
Hawk out.
I touched you.
Oh, I
Kevin.
fucked it up.
One enemy remaining.
It's fine. You got this.
Careful here. Time to hunt. Scout
Okay.
destroyed.
She took the spike.
Last player standing.
Oh no, she knows where he is.
30 seconds left.
Wait for her plant. I mean, you also have time. You also have time to rotate while we wait for her to plant. But she might be waiting for you mid. Oh, she's going A? No.
10 seconds left.
She's going back B. Go. Yes.
Spike planted.
Oh my god, I'm
So
I'm sorry.
So close, Ari. So close.
Please close your eyes. You didn't see that.
Round in the half.
We can't take anything with us. Anyone need anything?
I'm sad.
Right, no more music. We need to focus, everyone.
Can you buy me, please?
I got you.
Thanks.
Gotta go.
I miss the race.
Yeah, me too. This was so nice. Are we still lagging, chat? Steps on B. 120 Reina.
Let me heal you, Viper. Oh, okay.
He has a battle sage.
Yeah.
A pocket sage, sorry.
One enemy.
No lag. Good one.
Nice.
Let's go.
Healing over here.
Look at us. I don't want to call it, but maybe. Maybe, Arya.
Don't.
I have a something entry if you want. We can rush. I have an entry on A if you want. We rush A. Can I have spike, please?
Yes.
Viper walled the mid, by the way.
I'm out of here.
Not today, Bronze. Yes. Jack. Not today.
Watching here. Watching this spot. Trample them. Go, go, go. Coming through. Gotta go. Hawk out. Reloading.
Enemy spotted mid.
Thank you for trusting.
Reloading.
Right planning. Taken out.
I'm sorry, didn't the Viper use the wall?
Yeah, I heard it mid. Not their Viper,
Not like
not
our
ours.
Viper.
No, that was not.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Good job.
Ours did not.
Why isn't the Viper using the wall?
True. Did she ever use it?
Have any patterns emerged yet?
I have no idea. But like now is the perfect time to enter, you know?
Yeah. Do you want to do it again? Can I have a spike again, please? Or actually, you can plant it. You can plant.
Now he's just solo on the other side. Okay.
Go, go, go.
Oh my goodness. A little hero, thank you. I know there's one more here.
That's three.
Nice.
One enemy remaining.
You saved my life.
Live it, ace.
Flawless.
No.
Oh my god. This guy doesn't even wall and he steals your ace.
It's okay.
Never show
He said he's sorry. It's fine.
Yeah, true.
Again?
Can you use your wall, Viper?
Oh, you can fake a wall on B. We go A. Come, Sage, come with me. Come with me. Yes, come, let's go A, let's go A. Let's go.
Whispering.
Time to mobilize my pack.
She's so nice.
Gotta go. There.
Never mind, switch.
Don't push that.
Don't push smoke.
Go, go, go. Running low.
Careful. You're alone, Julia.
Yep. I have my pocket sage with me.
Nice.
What are you saying?
For you.
Okay, do our A.
No problem.
Coming through. Go, go, go.
I should have checked maybe.
I'm checking.
Thank you.
Go on A.
Watch out! There.
Last player
Oh!
standing.
How did she do that?
Oh my god.
I'm not luring pocket sages. I'm not luring pocket sages. Oh. I was behind the wall. I don't know what the fuck
struggling.
happened there. You're starting? No, you're not. You're doing so good.
Clock sticking.
Okay, maybe it's too obvious now, eh? Wanna go through mid?
Okay.
I felt that too. I felt that. Oh, thank you, obviously. I appreciate you. You're so nice.
This Viper is really annoying me. She's
Viper,
not
can you just
using
walk?
utility.
We need some smokes. Viper, can you please use a wall? Honestly, anywhere.
Take this. I'm out of here.
I'm coming B. You fucking cringe.
Go, gotta go.
Nice.
Coming B.
Coming through. I'm out of here.
Tomorrow we don't study, Petra. Tomorrow, no studying.
Watch out. Careful here.
The reason why I'm up late playing.
There.
Up.
Last
Oh!
player standing. One enemy remaining.
On site. Hi, big hair.
I'll pick them apart.
Hi.
You clean up whatever's left.
Spike is here.
Go, go, go.
Viper. Viper? Can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
Can I ask you to put a wall in B? Just anywhere? Thank you. Tell me if I have to ask, please, to put the freaking...
I
to do
know,
the
right?
freaking job.
And he wanted Viper, like I was gonna play, but
This. There. Spike planted. Reloading. Barrier created.
Oh, it's behind
What
the
the
wall.
fuck?
Exactly where.
It's on...
Last player standing.
guys.
Sorry. I don't know yet what time I'll be live tomorrow. I think around like tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. No, tomorrow I'm not gonna be live. If I'm live, it's gonna be like a late night live like today, or like late afternoon maybe, rather. So I can go bed to at a decent time. Do you wanna save? I can go with my ulti.
Let's save. I can buy serve someone.
Oh, I can go with my ulti.
Here we go.
I cannot fucking kill her. Never mind.
Almost out.
I need to kill someone or I'm out. 99.
Good attempt. Your duty.
Oh,
fuck.
That's so. Enemy removed.
Renee.
I'll handle this.
Oh, sorry. The ulti is so bad.
I'm back.
No problem.
What we said to the god of ultis? Fuck you, god. Give me the most harmful. What? That was.
Last player standing.
Oh.
The Reina is
It was a save round.
Fair. I don't like Neon's ulti.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it when I do it, and I hate it when the other Neon does.
Fair. When they're against us, it's still scary.
It's good, and when it's against us, it's good, and when we do it, it's terrible.
Oh, entry again?
Dude, I'm gonna ult instantly, and we push. And Viper, can you put up your wall?
Viper, please wall. Viper wall. No, let's rotate, let's rotate. Oh,
Is it here?
Yeah. It's there.
Okay, we have the Viper.
One dead Cypher.
Okay, 2 mid. Oh, we're all dead.
Yeah.
2 mid and 1 A. I'm talking to myself. Can I see the spike from here? Yes.
I'll tell you info from him. Vipers are from France, I think. Okay, I have 1 on site.
Yeah.
2 on site.
1 is still on me.
Backside.
Oh, can you ping a spike?
Yeah.
1 enemy remaining.
A good one.
Last player standing. Match.
Oh my god, Ari, I cannot believe this.
Losing sucks. Come on, let's
What?
win.
Match point.
Yes.
Okay, Viper is gonna use their wall. Thank you.
I don't know how I survived 3 people picking me at the same time.
That was
by
really
the way.
good. That was really good.
I really don't.
Claps in chat for Arya. Really, really proud.
Go, go, go.
Let me use this first. Oh.
Spike down A.
They can cuss.
We can cast? Oh, okay.
Oh, he's on the other side. There's Cypher. Can you go 12-12 for the meme? No.
What
the
meme? What's the meme?
The only game Arya wasn't carrying you, I lost. Well, I'm giving back the favor.
Hi.
Prolong it for
Fight's not over, you
granted.
know.
Okay,
I know.
let's, should we
Oh.
save first? I
Okay.
think so.
Yeah,
Let's be smart here.
Can we
for
save?
once in our
I'm
lives.
saving.
Yeah, let's come.
I'm out of here.
Viper, can you please save with us? Otherwise, you will not have money later. Just sell your. Thank you. You can wall if you want to.
if you want
Only if you want to.
You know,
It's not like it's
if
your
you're
job.
feeling spicy.
You can take
Playing
the
Viper
orb.
on Breeze.
Oh,
Careful here.
she should be gone.
Let's rotate, let's rotate.
Let's go.
She just wasted 2 of your blinds.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here. You will not kill my allies.
Oh shit.
Reloading. Spike planted.
Oh, I stoned him.
You are powerless.
Oh.
Oh no.
Last player standing.
Oh my god.
Hi Hugo. Hello Hugo. Okay. Okay. We got this. We got this. Just one more. It was a safe round. It's okay.
We
It's
know
okay.
what we're doing. Trust each other and we'll be fine.
I did not plan.
I think we should go B and should we go B?
Yeah.
And
Just
Viper,
careful
can
with
you
the
wall,
Here.
please. With us, Viper. Please.
I'm gonna ult into the side.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
Nice.
You can also wall so we can enter.
Alright.
Just saying. Otherwise we don't enter.
I mean, at least we have you.
I wanna side on the right. No one else.
No, fuck.
Oh no, left stage.
No, careful.
Your duty is not over. Spike planted. Here. Enemy spotted mid.
Time to jump.
Do you have heal?
Yes.
Enemy and defenders peeling over here.
Okay.
Take this.
Okay, you're from backside.
Oh my god. Oh.
The real dodge.
Oh no. We need to
One
win.
more, one more.
Yeah.
Chat,
We
I
don't
need
have
you-
money.
Chat, I need you to chant one more.
Force, force.
Give me the one more, chat. Give me the one more.
Can you
No.
buy Light Shield and
You're
Vandal?
sad. What?
Can you buy Light Shield and a Vandal?
Let's go.
Who can I? I cannot buy. I cannot buy Vandal.
Okay.
Go, go, go.
One right. Okay.
Oh my god. Thank you.
Gotta go.
I'm lost.
Gun here.
Plant not. You have spike, Julia.
Okay. You're right. You're
Plant
right,
like here. Oh, okay.
Where?
Like so we can see it from here.
Yeah.
From cave.
One enemy remaining.
Oh.
Careful.
Nice.
Where is he?
There.
GG.
Oh my god.
Attackers
GG.
win.
Chat, I don't like you because you didn't say one more, but appreciate you for staying here for the win. Get your own points. Get your points. Oh my god. Oh, 24. I am missing.
How many?
44.
Oh, you're close.
I'm missing 44. Oh my god. I'm missing 44 for the gold. How close are you?
Yeah. I need like 59.
We're close. Some of you said one more. Wait, who? Oh, just one more. Yes. You were the only one. Thank you, JJ. You still. JJ is such a teacher's pet. I love him. Yeah. Oh. This was the last one for me, Ari.
Yeah, same.
My brain is cooked.
I have to sleep.
Yeah. Thank you for the games, though.
Thanks
I
for
appreciate
playing.
you. Shall we have another win? No. Okay, I know that they're paying. I thought you were doing another prediction. Thank you, by the way, Ari. Have a beautiful night.
You too.
You can say bye to chat.
Goodbye, chat.
You're gonna see her on Saturday.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Chat, how are you doing? How is it? Did you like it? Did you like doing some Valorant at night? Was it a good thing? This is actually what I usually do every night. It doesn't change much for me to like a stream where I don't lose any points. Were you able to get some points? Did you get some? Let me see what we can do. Oh, there's no one online at these hours. Oh, my butt is hurting. Do you win every night? No. You are actually you're my lucky charm. I've been doing good. Like, we lost 1 out of 4 or 3. 3 or 4. How many do we play? You only went 5k plus. Oh, nice. I lost you. You underestimated me. That's wrong. That's so wrong. You know, that's so bad. You should never underestimate me. You know, we can. Let me see. We can go say hi to this person. I found her out. She's super sweet. And I sometimes watch her stream. As always, chat, be nice, alright? Be nice. Be super nice as always. But I appreciate you being here. For real, it was nice. So tomorrow I think I will be streaming again. Oh, by the way, thank you so much fucking much. I cannot even point it, but thank you for that. I was so not expecting 53 playing Valo. We're so close to the goal to go ice skating together. We're 25 away from the ones skating together. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know what time because you know these evenings ones are like random. Tomorrow I'm supposed to not be streaming, but because I want to, I'll still do it. So just follow on Instagram so you see it there. You have the notification there, or follow here. You have the notification there too. Also, I appreciate you so much for staying here today. Really, I hope this was as lovely for you as it was for me. Good night, everyone. Good night, Rising. Thank you so much for everything today. Good night. Bye. Thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you, Arya, for playing games. I don't know if you're hearing this, but